Yo, Tacoma Comics here. I'm tired. I just drove 2 hours. Well, it should have been 2 hours, about 2.5 hours back from Portland to Tacoma. Had a great time with my son. Went to Comic Con yesterday. Just did the 1 day thing, and that was enough for me, and that was really cool. Um, you know, just enjoy myself. So I want to do a quick wrap up. We had to come back today because my in-laws just got back from a cruise to Alaska and they're taking us out to dinner. So this is like not a lot of time to do this, but I want to show you guys all the books I got signed and all the books I got. Nathaniel, can you do me a favor? Can you go grab me a seltzer? Do we not have any more seltzers? We're out of seltzer. Can you go grab me a beer from the fridge, please?
He's embarrassing himself and on camera.
Who's embarrassing themselves, me or you?
You.
There's one more beer.
It's a lemon lime seltzer.
Leave it for mommy. I'll have a beer. All right. Comics. That's what you're here for.
I'm drinking.
Nathaniel, there's a box of beers in there in the fridge.
Why do I need to know where the alcohol is?
You don't need to know where the alcohol is. I like that you can responsibly know where it is and get me a beer. All right. So first off, this was this year's cover by Mark Brooks. I picked up 4 of these. I didn't get it signed by him because I didn't want to get in his line, and I honestly forgot to bring some of my Mark Brooks covers. I got some few things he's done. If anybody's a big Mark Brooks fan, I got a bunch of these. I can send one out. So anybody that's interested, just ask me, and I'll send that your way. Let's see what else we got. Signed books. So Matt Fraction was there. He's always cool to talk to. I showed him a Superman pal Jimmy Olsen that I had from like 1967 or something, and just laughed about how totally ridiculous this was and how his run really is emblematic of what's really cool about this original run. So he got a chuckle out of that and thanked me for sharing that with him. He could have been just being nice, but I think he was generally appreciative. So yeah, I got him to sign a bunch of stuff. I brought a whole bunch of X-Men from his Uncanny run, and unfortunately, the Dodsons were supposed to be there. Terry and Rachel Dodson, who did a lot of the beautiful covers on like the 500s and the Uncanny X-Men run, but they were not going to be there till today, and I was only there yesterday. So I got this one signed by Matt. He signed it down here at the bottom. Kind of hard to see, but I don't think that was his fault. Like I said, we were kind of chatting. I like this one a lot better. It's just a cool cover. I love this one. I love the signature down there too. Great cover. Those storms, like her head is not above her body. Oh, so that was a little strange. I love this Colossus cover, and he signed that one too. Oh man, that is just with the red in the background. That is great. It's one of the best Colossus covers. I think Colossus is taken for granted on the X-Men. I don't always think he's given his due, which is kind of annoying. This was the Beach. What was this? The Beach Ball Comics Laughing Ogre and Austin Books Odyssey exclusive variant. I got Chip to sign it at Emerald City last year, and I got Matt to sign it down here. And then this is the exact. I mean, there's nothing different about this cover from the original other than it says Image Comics down here. So this is the Image comic variant. Whatever. This is signed by Matt. I didn't get this one signed by Chip though. Because Chip doesn't do this one. I'm confusing myself. Hey, Poor Man's Comics. I was broke before I went, to be honest with you. It had just been a tough month. I had to buy new climbing shoes at the beginning of the month because my old climbing shoes ripped. So that set me back a lot. I do want to do another auction soon, and we should talk about that. Right now, it's been super busy at work. This has been one of the toughest starts of the school year I've ever had. Nicholas, can you go close the basement door, please? Livy's just been down in the basement. So yeah, definitely coming up soon. Got this one signed by Matt, apparently not by Chip, which means it's probably an older one. It's Image First. I just got that because I didn't have an Image First of Sex Criminals. Got his signature on this variant for Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, which I love. You got him on this Sex Criminals, the second printing of the fourth printing. So I have him and Chip there. And then I have him and Chip on this Ghost variant. I asked Matt about the artist who did this, whose name I could not tell you, and who isn't very well known. And apparently, she's like a graphic designer. She does a lot of illustration for companies and stuff. She doesn't do a lot of comic book stuff. So there you go. Moving right along, Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba on Day Tripper #1. If you've never read this, get the trade, read the entire thing. It's one of the best 10-issue read I can recommend at all. Flat out best. This is one of the ones I spent the most money on, and it wasn't a lot. It was listed for 10, half off. This is the Forbidden Planet exclusive of Pretty Deadly #1. I picked that up specifically because Kelly Sue is there, so I got her to sign it. I had her sign the Rat. And, I see Kelly Sue all the time. We have kids who are exactly the same age, and she does Taekwondo. My kids do Taekwondo, and I don't in any way think that I've got like a special connection with Kelly Sue, but I just really like her demeanor. She's just really nice to people, really kind to people when they meet her. So I do chat with her about her progress in Taekwondo. I do like just speak to her about stuff. And I also always bring, the cat is here. I also bring comics with me to give out. No, this is the new one that just came out, The Rat. This is the Forbidden Planet of #1 of the original. So it had been so long since Pretty Deadly's been in print, so she went on her Captain Marvel Hollywood vacation, that they gave it a different name and they solicited it differently. But this is really like issue 12 in the whole run, or volume 3, but they just gave it a different name. But that is neither Ashcan or second print. So talking to Kelly, and I give out comics on her line because I'm always bringing like True Believer, Captain Marvels, because there's always so many kids on her line, and I hand them out. And there's even adults who like, a lot of men and women who love Kelly Sue, but they only have trade paperbacks. So I gave out a Pretty Deadly #1 because I've given away 5 of them. I have like 5 of them. I keep getting more. I've got the Image First. I've got the Ghost variant. I've got the one you just saw, the black and white variant. So I don't know if this is connected or not, but as I'm talking to her and I'm talking about how much I miss Bitch Planet, she's like, "Here you go," and she gave me heart. It's called Bitch Planet. It's in quotes. It's allowed. That's the name of the comic. So I just said language. She gave me a hardcover, which I thought was really cool. This is the local comic book shop day variant, and I did not have this before, so I was really psyched. And she wrote my favorite phrase inside there. Absolutely, you can see she messed up the up because we were talking, but there's nothing wrong with that, man. That's awesome. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know if you guys know Uncanny Alan from Instagram. He got the same thing. Aquaman, this is her first Aquaman issue, so I got that signed. I had this one signed by Jamie McKelvey and Kieran Gillen. Kelly Fitzpatrick does the coloring on a mini story inside, and so I got her to sign that. I got this one signed by Colin Kelly at Emerald City. Jackson Lansing, his partner, is also on this. And then I saw Kelly Fitzpatrick, who just signed this, was there getting had this at her table. I'm like, "Oh, you colored that too?" She's like, "Yeah." So I took it out and got her to sign. Went over to Greg Rucka's table. He's sitting there with all the Stumptown, like pushing all the Stumptown stuff, because they actually premiered the TV show last night, but I didn't go see it. So I got him on this Lois Lane, which I absolutely love. Ian, find the facts. Boom. I already had this by Greg Rucka, but I got Michael Lark to sign it. He was right next door to Greg Rucka. I also got them both to sign Lazarus Risen, which is really cool. Adam Kubert was there, and charges $10 a signature. I only got one. I brought 4 books, so I was going to cover it up. It was between these two and these two. And these are like my 4 favorite Adam Kubert. So I went for this one, and I'll keep questioning that till the day I die. But I think I'm happy with it. I mean, I'm definitely happy with it. Just don't know if I'd be as happy, if I might have been happy with something else. Matt Rosenberg was there. He was signing for free, the first 5 for free, which is cool. So I got some 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank variant signed. The colorist on this was there, and I never got it signed. I have it signed by Jody Hauser from last year, but I didn't get signed. What are you doing, dude? No, we'll tell you when we're leaving.
Mommy said that we have to go soon.
No, yeah, that's why I.
We're leaving at 5:40. We have 10 minutes. Which soon is so you don't run away. All right. What did I buy? That's cool, man. That's cool, Lion Cat. I feel like I bought more than this, but maybe it is. So everything I bought was there's another bag of books there. Okay. I was like, what happened? Everything I bought, I spent $5 in one book. Everything else was $1 books and $1.50 books and $2 books. So this was $1. It's one of my favorite Miss Marvel covers. That's not an expensive variant. Donny Cates' first work for major publisher, Payback's #1. I got a Wicked and Divine that I did not have. I got a new X-Men from Grant Morrison that I did not have. I have one of the solo Avengers that I did not have. It's yucky shape. It's like a 6 or a 7. I got this for $1. This Wonder Woman Jenny Frison variant. Pretty psyched about that. I got a new Usagi that I did not have. That is number 124, which is pretty cool. But also, I got this Usagi. So he did Usagi with Fantagraphics, with Mirage, and then with Dark Horse, and now with IDW. So there's been like 4 Usagis. I've got number 1 in this, I think, but I didn't have number 2. At least I hope I have number 1 because I passed it up. Keep in mind, these are like $1 each or $1.50 each. A lot of this was from I Like Comics, which is the store down in Vancouver where Bueller gets a lot of his stuff from. And they have like 30 or 40 long boxes there. And it basically said anything priced under $10 is $1 each. So I said, okay, I will take that beautiful Wolverine variant to Astonishing X-Men with the ridiculous thigh muscles that are badly drawn, but we won't talk about that, for $1. I'll fill out a lot of my Wolverine run. I call it the first run. I know technically it's volume 2. I'll take number 50 for $1, but I call this volume 1 because a 4-issue limited series is not a volume 1. It's a 4-issue limited series. So that's 50, 42, 41. And then I was missing a big chunk in the 20s. So I got 29, 28, 27, which is a great cover, classic looking Wolverine. 26 and 25. So I was pretty psyched about those because, a lot of places, they're hard to find. A lot of places sell them for a lot more than they should be going for. They should be like $2 books, but I was glad to get them for $1. 19. I remember when they put Roughhouse in the first Wolverine movie and called him Deadpool, and he looked like this, and it was bizarre, and everybody was confused. Well, there you go. 14, which I think was the earliest one I was missing. I had 1 through 13. And then just because I'm collecting the late X-Men, I found this for $1, signed by Ed Brubaker. So I was like, psych. Pretty happy with that. So there's one pile. That Pretty Deadly variant I showed you earlier, the Forbidden Planet black and white variant, that was $10, but they had it listed at half off, so that was $5. That was literally the most expensive comic I bought. I did not go expensive comic hunting. I went cheap comic hunting. I went run filler hunting. So I got this because I think I've got 1 through 10 now. This is a fantasy book I read back in like the 80s or 90s. Really loved it, and the fact that they serialized it in comics is pretty cool. Got a little new X-Men goodness there. I don't know what that is. This is Austin, who I know did a big run on them, but this is like in the middle of the Grant Morrison run, so he must have come back for like 1 or 2. But I didn't want a broken up run. So there's Grant Morrison on 154, Grant Morrison on 146, Grant Morrison on 145, Grant Morrison on 130. First appearance of the Stepford Cuckoos for $1. Pretty psyched. Pretty psyched about that. I can't wait to read this run. I hear it's amazing. And it's, one of the things that a lot of people said brought them back to the X-Men. So I'm trying to collect the whole run so I can read them all in like one big shot. Really looking forward to that. So this is like not a big comic. I got it for $1. You can find it for like $2 or $3 in some places, but this is Stephanie Hans cover, Extreme X-Men 7.1. So I was really psyched to get another Hans for $1. Got this great. I think I might have this, but I mean, look at that cover. Storm's so amazing. This is another one I paid like $2 for. This is one of the more expensive ones I got. This is a Champions #2 from the first recent run by Mark Waid that I didn't have. And I love it because you got Captain Marvel, Shadow. Sorry, you can't see it. Spider-Man, Shadow behind Miles. You've got Rick Ryder, Dick Ryder there. You've got Vision. Sorry, you got Cyclops. I can't see from here. There you got Rick Ryder, and there obviously you've got the Hulk. So you've got kind of like their Shadow Adult originals behind all the newer ones, which I thought was kind of a cool idea. I don't even know who did that. Is that H? Who is the artist who signs his or her name H? I don't know. Moving along because I got dinner in 6 minutes. This is the other one in 4 minutes. This is the other one in the Young Avengers Presents that's got a little bit of heat on it. The Hawkeye obviously won, and the Stature one too, because everybody's still expecting to see Stature at some point since they hinted at it in the Ant-Man Wasp movie. I have all these, but for $1 each, I wouldn't pass them up. This is the complete run, 4-issue run that Stephanie Hans did on Witch Hunter Angela, 1602. So I was super psyched about that. Love me some Stephanie Hans. She's got the Web of Black Widow #2 coming out in a month. She's got a Valkyries cover coming out. I think these were $1 each. I stopped collecting Poe at like 24, but I love these Phil Noto covers. So this is issue 30. I think this is the last one. So it's nice. I can finish wrapping that up, especially since I found like the last one. Black Order. I had the first one of this. I got rid of it. I heard it's actually a decent read. I am Lion Cat. But it's pretty cool. #4 there. First Shard, Sister of Bishop. Got that for $1. Already have that. It's another copy. Almost done. I don't know why they didn't have issue 3 and 4, but they had issue 1 and 2 of Magic, which I thought was pretty cool. Not newsstand, but those were, again, I think at this point, I went back to this place. These were now 50 cents each. Because everything went down from $1 to 50 cents each. So I was just, people were riffling through things. You could get a short box filled for 40, but I didn't want to deal with that. So I'm not sure. I thought Doom made a video about 2-3 weeks ago where he said this Free Comic Book Day from, 2016 or something was the first appearance of the all new, all different Avengers. And he said this might be the way that they're going in the future instead of A-Force. But, it's all spec. But for 50 cents each, I'll take a little spec. And I could have misheard him.
Boys!
Got another new X-Men. Almost done here, guys, which is good because you can hear. Mad Cave Studio, free preview of one of their new comics. They're the ones who do Knights of the Golden Sun and Honor and Curse. Wolvenheart is another one from them. Upshot, some company was, what was some company doing? Some company was just giving away free stuff, and this was one of them. They were kind of hawking free stuff, so I was like, okay, I'll take something free. I never say no to free at a comic book shop. Stopped by the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, and I just grabbed a couple of these, gave them a nice donation, $5 or something, because I believe in the work that they do. What else did I get? I think that's it. I got Kelly Sue was throwing out little Aquaman promo stuff, so I got that signed by her. Can go up on the wall. I got, so you want to start a comic book club, which I do. That was from Michael Lark's wife. She works at a comic book. She owns a comic book shop in Texas, I think. I could be wrong. This is drawn by Emma Kubert, who I think is daughter of either Andy or Adam, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I stopped by the DC or Warner Brothers booth, was just handing out some free promo posters, which I figured I'll put up in my classroom. We got one for Batwoman. We got one for Riverdale. And we got one for Black Lightning. So, you know, nothing big, nothing major. Most of the big boy books were overpriced. You know, if you go back Sunday at like 4 p.m., you can get them cheap, but Saturday afternoon, they're not going to be cheap. So I didn't even bother trying to play that game. I was just going for cheap dollar books. You know, I can find better deals on auctions and online, or digging through back issue bins at like places that are not there. I also picked up these two. I'd heard about this one through my podcast done by somebody who works at an LCS down in Olympia. I guess it's not local, at a CS down in Olympia. And this one, I picked them up together. They were like pretty cheap. This is important to have and to read as a teacher, and to have for my kids to be able to read, my students. So that's it, man. Like I said, a few signatures. It was really about hanging out with my son. He had a great time. Somebody who has a company that called Wood Nerd or Nerd Wood Productions. They make wooden like D&D stuff, dice holder, dungeon master screens and stuff. They recognized him from a question he asked in the Critical Role panel at Emerald City Comic Con. And he saw that they had these markers to show whose turn it was if you're a DM.
Okay, boys.
And he's like, wow, they actually have these. I want these. And they're like, were you at the Critical Role panel and asking a question? He's like, yeah, I was asking a question about these. And she's like, we were there. We heard you. We made these because you asked that question. So I thought that was really cool. And he was elated, absolutely elated. And I have to go to dinner. Thanks, guys. I want to get this done quickly. Otherwise, it will linger all week and I'll never get around to it. You all have a great day. I will definitely catch you later and see your shows this week. Have a good time. Bye.